What up, guys? It's Chris with Bottle Cap Barbecue. Now, as a competition barbecuer and griller in general, I usually have a lot of leftovers. And one thing I like to do on the weekends is cook something up and then try to use those leftovers in multiple meals throughout the week. So I've already done that so far this week with the brisket I cooked last weekend. But what I want to do now is show you how I make one of my favorite meals, chili. Not just any chili, barbecue smoked brisket chili. Now, chilies have a lot of ingredients, so if you're going to be following along, go ahead and look down below. I'll have the full ingredient list with the recipe. Now, I gotta let you know something. This isn't my recipe. I might change some things a little bit, but the core recipe I got from Jack with Cooking with Jack. I'll leave a link to his channel right here. Go check it out. Awesome guy, great content. Just make sure you tell him I said hi. Now, there's gonna be a lot going on with this chili, so follow along, and I'll show you what ingredients we're using and when. So the first step in this chili is cooking up some onions. So I have 2 small white onions and 1 small red onion, as well as about 6 cloves of garlic. So heat up a kind of big bowl, skillet or pot. Get some olive oil in there, about a tablespoon or so, just enough to coat. These in, and basically we want to break these down and get them cooked up a little bit, just until they're about translucent and caramelized. When cooking onions, always add a little bit of salt. It coax out their flavor. So this is what you're wanting. You're wanting all the onions to become translucent and just starting to brown on the edges. Because we don't want to let them brown too much, because we're still going to be cooking them. So we want to stop them right about here. So the next stage is some of our peppers. Now, we have chopped 1 green bell pepper, 1 red bell pepper, and then we have finely diced 2 jalapeños, 1 poblano, and 2 small chipotle peppers in adobo. Let's get these mixed in, and then we're going to cook this down for about 10 minutes. So the onions and garlic cooked for about 6 minutes. But again, you just want to look for that translucency and just when they're starting to brown. But now that the peppers are in, get this mixed around in about 10 minutes. While the onions and peppers are cooking, let's go ahead and get our other ingredients ready. It's a good idea to go ahead and drain your beans, just because you don't want all this water and salt content from the beans in your chili. So go ahead and just put them in a colander, rinse them off. Alright, it's been just about 10 minutes. You can see how everything has come together. Everything is cooked down. And if you're using hot peppers, everything is going to mild down a little bit. Everything's going to tone down. So obviously I have a little kid in the house. I don't want things to be too spicy. But I just want that little kick. That's why I had those habaneros in there. But again, cooking it like this, it's going to mellow out. And it's even mellow out even more once we get everything in the pot. So, alright, so these are ready. Let's get everything in the pot. Now we're going to be using this Crockpot today. Basically, this is just a meal that you can set up in the morning, go to work, and by the time you get home, it's ready. So that's what we're using today. So let's get everything in there. First is our onions and peppers. The smell on this is just all amazing already. The peppers and garlic coming out. Every bit of it in there. Next up is going to be our beans. And I already know what some of my friends are saying. Beans don't go in chili. Well, sorry guys, I do. Alright, next the recipe calls for 2 28-ounce cans of diced tomatoes and crushed tomatoes. Now I'm doing each kind one at a time, because honestly, you use this as a filler and as juice. So I might not use all of it, but that's what the recipe calls for, so that's what we're going to try to use. So first up is the diced, and you do want the juice out of these cans. And I'm going to do 1 can of the crushed. And the reason why you're using different types is you want different textures in there. Jack also used whole tomatoes, but he also cut them down. So I'm like, why do that? Let's just go ahead and use diced. But if you want to use, if you want to have larger chunks, go ahead and use a whole as well, and just slice them. Just slice them up a bit. Sorry, I talk while I move. All right, so obviously we need more. Well, actually no. Let's go ahead and throw in our brisket first. So this is 4 pounds of brisket. I'm using both point and flat. So this is probably going to fill up the rest of this thing. So try getting this in there. Oh yeah. Just stir it around. Most likely you're gonna fill the rest up with the diced. I might not use the crushed. And use whatever crock pot you want, or if you want to do it on the stove, go ahead and just get a big stock pot and fill it up. With your brisket, you can have large chunks like that. Obviously it's gonna break down, especially if it's a real well-cooked brisket, and well, I know it is. Mixed around. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add in our spice dump, and then I'll top it off with the diced tomatoes. So our spice dump is gonna be a lot. So in here is a ½ cup of chili powder. Now I know that sounds scary, but I kind of cut it down a little bit. So it is a ½ cup. But I have 3 different types of chili powders. So I have a basic chili powder, which is a little spicy. I cut it with a little bit of ancho chili powder, which is a little more mild. And I also used the Chili 3000 from Pinzy Spices. If you don't know about Pinzy, look them up. Great flavors. And that Chili 3000, again, it's a mild flavor. So got that. We have a 1/3 cup of cumin. We have a 1/4 cup of dried oregano. And we have 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. It's a lot of spices, but almost every chili recipe you'll find out there has a lot of spices in it. Oh, that smell. I love cumin. Just the smell of it. So this thing's gonna be packed with flavor. And it probably is gonna be a little on the spicy side. Again, cooking it over long periods of time, the spice will mellow out. So I've made this before, this almost exact recipe, and it wasn't too bad. But you can always cut it with some Greek yogurt or sour cream. Okay, well while I'm doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and get our diced tomatoes in. Just like any good barbecue, there's no rules with chili. They're more like guidelines. Got that. So follow the recipe as best you can, but do what looks right. Like, I'm not going to add this whole thing in just yet. I added maybe 3/4 of that. Because this tomato juice is going to thicken as it reduces. So the moisture in here will go down. But at the same time, the brisket still has a lot of juice inside of it as well. That's going to be released over this long cook. So it's a kind of mixture of different things going on. I am going to finish off with the rest of this diced can. Obviously, if you're using a bigger crock pot or a bigger pot, you're going to use more. Last thing I'm going to add in is cilantro leaves. Basically, it's 1 bunch of just the leaves, roughly chopped. And you can save this towards the ends, but I just like, as they break down, they add flavor. I mean, obviously you're not going to get the whole leaves at the end, but you will get their flavor in there. They're going to wilt down and combine it with the chili. So just get everything worked all together. You know, obviously as it cooks, it's going to combine even more, but just do your best to mix everything up. And this is it. That's 1 full pot of chili. All right, so I'm gonna put the lid on. If you're not gonna be cooking it all day, obviously you can put it on high for about 3 or 4 hours. I am cooking it all day, so I'm going on low. It's gonna be about 8 hours or so. But that's it. All right, guys, we'll see you 8 hours later. All right, well, it's been a long day. We're at the about 8.5 hour mark, and I checked on this thing about half hour ago, but let me show you what it looks like. I mean, there's just something about, after having a crock pot on all day, walking into your house and having that aroma just hit you. So, as you can see, it is still pretty watery and pretty high, but you know there's lots of flavor in there. So, again, I took it on about a half hour ago, and when I saw that it was this running, I went ahead and I added about a third can of tomato paste. This is a 6-ounce can, so about 2 ounces of tomato paste. So that's about a half hour ago. So it's gonna thicken up a little bit. But even if it doesn't, this is still an awesome consistency. And as you can see, as I'm stirring it, everything is just distributing evenly. And if you like it this consistency, go for it. I mean, that's what cornbread's for, right? And I am making cornbread. So I mean, just look at that. And these chunks of brisket are just breaking apart. I mean, I just push them and they fall apart. So, all right. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and get the very last ingredient ready. That's right, chocolate. But not just any chocolate, 100% dark chocolate. This is gonna be good. Now please, do not skip this step. I know it sounds really weird to have chocolate in a chili, but trust me, just the flavor it adds is just something you can't compare it to. Just try it and let me know how it goes, but just don't skip this step, please. Just give it a try. Alright, time to put in our chocolate. Now you only want to do this step at the very end when you're about ready to serve, because you don't want that chocolate cooking down at all. So basically what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be turning this to warm. So just keep it at that serving temperature. And I mean, look, you just look at these brisket pieces. They're just falling apart. Like, oh, just look at that. So this is going to be good. Alright, so anyway, so like I said, it has thickened up a little bit, but I actually like this consistency. Again, if you want less soupy, add more tomato paste in there, or just use more cornbread. But see, I like that. That's just a healthy serving right there. All right. Chocolate. I know, it looks really weird, but please trust me. This just adds a depth of flavor. It instantly starts melting once it hits. And this was 4 ounces of 100% chocolate or cacao. It's also going to darken it up a little bit. And I'm sure you've seen videos out there where you've seen chocolate mixed with beef. So that combination, not anything new. I just don't know too many people that put chocolate inside their chili. But after you give this a try, you're gonna be doing it every time. All right, I'm not waiting anymore. I gotta give this a try. All right, it's been all day cooking. Finally time to give this a try. Oh, that chocolate at the end, you can definitely smell it, so you know it's there. And I can almost guarantee whenever somebody picks up a bowl of this, they're not going to instantly know that. They're just going to recognize the scent, and they're like, "Is that chocolate?" Make sure I get a piece of brisket, get some peppers. I know it's going to be hot, but I don't care. This is unlike any chili I've had before. It's not spicy at all. I mean, yes, you can tell that there's peppers and stuff in there, but it's not spicy. It's just that flavor is there, not the heat. And the scent of the chocolate is there, but it's not an overpowering taste. It's just like the hints of just that dark chocolate flavor, but it's not forefront. It's in the back. Everything's tender. The peppers still have a slight bite to them, not too much. And that brisket, man, just going through this process makes the brisket even better. Well, you guys, give this recipe a try. And again, like I said before, give a shout out to Jack with Cooking with Jack. He's the one I got this recipe from. I didn't use it exactly like he did, but just like chili, like I said before, make it your own. You have a recipe as a base, but ultimately you do what you do. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed it. Hit that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and more importantly, comment below and just let me know how you're liking things. How you like this recipe, how you like my videos. If you don't like something, call it out too. I love having a back and forth with people, just knowing what people are looking for, because I'm here to learn and to show you guys what I've learned. So ultimately, I just want to have fun. So thanks guys for coming and hanging out, and as I always say, keep on grilling.